Good evening, everyone. This is me, Adnan Gauri, founder and director of iWorkstation. I welcome you all for the iWorkstation BIM series. And along with me is Nikola Jovic, who is from Germany. And currently, he's working with WSP as a BIM manager. He holds two master's degree in civil engineering and business finance. And currently, he's on a mission to help people educate in the BIM sector. I welcome you, Nicola.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, so I'm working here in Germany for WSP in infrastructure engineering. And my mission here in Germany is to make WSP in Germany the top BIM design company in the infrastructure sector. And my personal mission is to make BIM education more accessible to people all around the world, and also to make BIM marketing, world-class BIM marketing services to provide to people and companies. So today I'm going to speak about a topic about problems of BIM implementations and how we can understand better BIM. My mindset is always that BIM comes from people. It's not all about technology. First place is the people, are the people. I'll start with my presentation that I have prepared for you. So I will share my screen. So can you see it at the moment? Okay. So this is introduction of myself, my academic background and professional experience. I finished first civil engineering. I used to master and bachelor in Belgrade, where I come from, Serbia. Then for 5 years, I worked as a bridge designer in Highway Institute. After that, moved to Germany to GOB, where I first started working with them. In 2020, I moved to Frankfurt to WSP, where I continued working as a BIM engineer, BIM bridge designer. In 2022, I was promoted to lead the BIM for the constructions in the company. And that's when I started getting more interested in how to make BIM better, how to make BIM more profitable, how to uh, help people learn BIM. And that's why I started doing my second master in business finance with a research topic on BIM. I got very interested in that, so I continued after finishing it with PhD, mostly with BIM marketing and regarding BIM education. So I have 4 goals for you today, 4 takeaways. So first, we're going to identify the most common barriers for BIM implementation and to analyze the frequency and impact of on those barriers. So not every single barrier is the same. Third, we're going to analyze how our perception of those barriers change over time. And finally, to understand better one of the challenge and the BIM barrier that's BIM costs, to really understand that. In order to do that, I will show you 3 case studies. So case study number 1, it's the barriers to BIM implementation. So here, all of the 37 you see on the screen, BIM barriers have been analyzed. So people researched what do we talk about when we speak about BIM barriers in the world. So on internet, on webinars, and conferences, and so on. And then it's not only about speaking, it's also how to understand what of those are important. It's not only about, here is a barrier. Here's this matrix showing us the frequency and the impact of those beam changes on the frequency. From left to right, the right are the ones who we speak a lot of. So there is a lot of going on there. And on the epsilon, on the impact. And so we can see how much does it has impact. So pretty much in the red area, we want to focus on those barriers. And the green areas, for example, are the barriers that we don't speak a lot about and have actually low impact. So they're not really important. So we want to focus on the red area. So do you have any idea what is the most significant BIM barrier for BIM implementation? It has nothing to do with BIM, has nothing to do with civil engineering, architecture. It goes across all industries. It's actually resistance to change. So in the first place, you see is a social and habitual resistance to change. We simply do not like changes. Myself, I don't like changes either. Second is traditional method of contracting. So this is very important. So the country, the government needs to have some kind of legal, some kind of contracts and to make BIM legal, so to say. Third and fourth, training expenses and the learning curve are too expensive. High cost of software purchasing. We're going to see later why those are actually not that problematic. And the fifth, it's a lack of awareness about BIM. This is a very important one, and that's why I want to speak about BIM globally and just to make BIM closer to people. Also worth mentioning, lack of BIM experts. So that is very important one. Unavailability of proper training, high costs of BIM hardware and tools. That's not really true. We're going to see that why later. Initial setup of BIM is difficult, high maintenance cost, and so on. Second case study. This is a very interesting study with one survey that was done in 2015, and the same survey was repeated in 2020 in Arab Emirates. 2015, those 362 organizations from our industry were made a survey, and they were not BIM users. So 2015, they started using BIM, and first survey was done. It is the red one that you see. And they rated some statements such as high costs of BIM are a problem for BIM implementation, or inadequate top management support is also a huge problem. So you see that the top management support was really high rated. So they said, okay, that is really huge problem for BIM implementation. Our managers, top management don't understand BIM. They don't want to support us. Or BIM is very expensive, or not all stakeholders are using BIM. So interestingly, 2020, the same survey was repeated with the same organizations, but now those organizations have 5 years of experience. So you see, for example, that high costs of BIM reduced significantly. Non all stakeholders using BIM significantly reduced. Also, BIM top management support reduced. So we see that over time, our understanding of BIM changed quite a lot. So, but some things did not change. For example, resistance to change stayed the same. Significant change in workflow also stayed the same. So those, for example, tells us first, we understand that BIM is a huge change. And second, we don't like changes at all. I'll go to the next case study, which is most important of those 3 studies. It's about understanding the costs and benefits in one BIM project. So we have on one hand benefits, we have on the other hand costs. All those were analyzed in a group, separated into benefits and costs. Everything that costs us, for example, we need to buy a new computer, that goes in the costs. We need to buy new software, we need new training. So all that goes into costs. Then benefits, all that we had benefits that was measured in a project. We put it in the file of benefits. Then we have this benefit cost ratio. We divide benefits with costs, and we have this ratio. So when the higher this ratio, the better. For example, if this ratio is 1, that means that we invested €1 and we got €1 back, or $1 invested, we got $1 back. So when we have, for example, 5, this ratio, that means that we've invested €1, $1, we got 5 back. So that's good. So here we have 5 projects that were analyzed. Some are very famous. That goes from €500 million to €30 million. So first one, it's APM container terminal in Costa Rica. It's a very big project, and here is the ratio 8. So in every dollar invested, we got $8 back. So it's really good. And this is the best project considering the BIM cost ratio of all those 5. So we're gonna see later why is that so. The next one, it's London City Airport. Here is benefit cost ratio 4. It's really good, but it's 2 times less than previous one. The next project, it's Museum of the Future in Dubai. Here is the benefit cost ratio just above 1. So we are positive, but we're going to see why is that so low. But the takeaway on this project is that every project participant told that we couldn't pull off this project without BIM. So there are a lot of added value to this project. It's not only money measured. The 2 last projects are IKEA projects in Indonesia and the British Antarctic Survey that have pretty much benefit cost ratio 2 or 3. So you can see very similar. We're gonna see why is that so. Here is just like one summary table of the results. So you can see the benefit cost ratios, how it goes from 8 to 1, from the best to the worst. So now I want to speak about compare those costs and the ratios of those 5 projects. So we said that the first project was the best with ratio 8, and the Museum of the Future was the worst, so 1.14. Let's take a look at the last 2 projects, IKEA and British Antarctic Stations. So those 2 projects are very similar investments made in software, in hardware. And you see the blue is cost of software, how much percentage of the projects went to the software, and how the red is how much percentage of the total costs went to the hardware. The green, it's actually the working hours. So the working hours of people are the biggest chunk of costs. So when we speak about BIM costs of one project, more than 90% of all of the costs go to the people, go to the working hours. And those costs are actually the most sensitive one. What I mean by that, let's say we increase the software costs 2 times, or let's say we increase 50% of the cost of software. So it means that this 3.3% is going to go to the, let's say, 5% or so. But the total costs of this project are not going to go that much. So pretty much the total cost will increase 1% or 2%. It's very low. But if we say, let's say on this project, if myself, let's say I'm working on this project, I'm not very motivated to do work, and then I delay my work and I'm just working slowly. So if this project costs increase 50%, so that means that the whole project pretty much is going to increase 50% because these costs are 95% of the whole project. The second is, why is this also very sensitive? Software costs, if you want to buy a software, you can buy it within a day. It's not a problem. If you have a hardware that we need to buy, we can order it online. It can come within a week. With installation within 2 weeks, we have it within ourselves. in our office. But if we have a need for additional co-worker, BIM expert on the project, or one person that is working on the project just cancel his contract and decide to leave, we need a lot of time to find a new expert to be on board. So we need at least 6 months to find someone. And that's why those costs are very sensitive. So anything that we influence here has a huge impact on the total costs. Now let's do a cross examination of those projects. Last two projects are very similar. Benefit cost ratio relatively similar, 2 to 3. Pretty much similar investments have been made into the software and hardware, and see we have very similar results. In Museum of Future, we can see that investment in software was very low. So not so many investments have been made in software. And that actually resulted in very low benefit cost ratio. So if we invest less in software, then we're not going to get a lot of money back from BIM. We need to understand BIM as investment. We need to invest in BIM. An example of London City Airport, it was made a lot of investment in software, also in hardware. So they decided, okay, we're going to invest a lot of in BIM from the start of the project. And you see the benefit cost ratio was 4. So it was pretty much 4 times, so 3 to 4 times bigger than this project, Museum of Future. So the conclusion is the more you invest in software, you get a lot of returns. Why is that so? Well, if you are able with your software investment, which is, let's say, 2,000 euros, to reduce 1% of the working hours of person, so you're gonna low his working hours over the huge period of time a lot, and that's gonna actually influence this column. So that's good. That's why you get your investment back. The first project and the best project, it's the APM terminal in Costa Rica. Here you have even bigger BIM cost ratio, 8. So on every euro or dollar you invested, you got 8 euros back or dollar back. And here it was 3.3% of investment. But this project is very interesting because the reason this ratio is very high is because both the construction and design team had a lot of BIM experience. They were able to work together seamlessly, flawlessly, to work together really. So they had a lot of know-how in BIM. So that's why they were able to pull off this project. And also they made a significant investment. And since this is $500 million project, so investment in BIM is also very high. So that's why this project has a good ratio of BIM cost. So that is those 3 case studies that I wanted to show you. I hope that you understood a little bit better about BIM barriers. What are they? What significant play? What are the most significant ones? How our perception change over time? It does change. So it is really important to understand and to show to people at the beginning, okay, BIM is very hard. You have so many things to learn, so many softwares to learn, so many standards to learn. So at the beginning, also with my coworkers, I have a lot of patience, and I would just want to show them, okay, BIM, it's not that scary. It just takes time. You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Even now, it is expected, but we are here to work together on that, to grow together. So it's important, this change and the approach to the people, how they work with them. That's really important. And in the end, it's also very important, maybe mostly for the top management, but also for the people working in BIM to understand the real costs of BIM in terms of when I started working with BIM, I thought, okay, we need this training in BIM for this worker. It's very expensive, but yeah, it's like Nikola, yeah, it's too expensive. Like, do we really have to do that? And then just show, if let's say, just show just simple graphic, simple Excel sheet. Okay, if you invest this amount of money in this coworker, and if he's able to work just 2% faster in time, how much money are going to be saved on this investment? Just looking at numbers. And then people go, okay, Nikola, that makes actually sense. Like, this person is surely gonna do 2% faster the project. So I hope you understood a little bit better about this topic. And if you have any questions, we'll be gladly to answer.
Uh, I have a question, Nicola. I see the projects, and I wanted to know, like, is there any metrics to measure the cost benefit which you have shown?
What do you mean by metrics to measure the cost benefit?
I mean, how we can come on to the conclusion that there is a ratio of, like, you mentioned the ratio 1:4:5 for different projects. So how can we measure that thing?
So it's calculated pretty much the framework. I'll switch to the framework. So here you have one project. All those projects were from start analyzed. First, you have to understand what are the costs. For example, we need to buy some hardware. We need to buy some software for these costs. There are some installation costs. Also, there are some organizational costs, human costs. So all the costs were analyzed into one group. When project starts, for example, we have, let's take one project. So we have benefits. So for example, as if we have as-built drawings, it's going to save us so much time. So if, for example, if survey, for example, is 7,000 euros saved dollars. So for example, if we can save time, so we are in the office working, and if we need to go on the construction site to measure something, and if we can do it in model directly in our office, instead of going to the construction site, we're going to save some time, some hours. So I don't need some engineer to go to the site to measure, to come back. It costs pretty much whole day. If he can do it from the office within an hour, we save 7 hours. So if this worker is working, is this engineer is, for example, his salary is, I don't know how many dollars per hour, we calculate 7 hours of savings times how much he earns per hour, we got the number, and then it goes in the pile of so here in the benefits.
Right. I understand. So it's not
So
just the
everything that we
software,
can-
hardware.
So when the project is going, yes,
I was saying that it's also depend on the deliverables which you extract from a project. It can be visualization or modeling or quantities or anything. And once you have the measurement of how much it benefit the client, then only you can be able to utilize the benefits of it.
yes.
Okay. And Nicola, when you talk about, I mean, the training part, like as you mentioned that in your company, like you have been an initiator for how you can save the 2% of the employee, right? 2% training cost for the employee. It can be more efficient. How can we do that thing? Like, this is first of all a very challenging thing in the industry right now. People have to heavily invest in an employee for training, and the lot of number of hours have been spent on that. So how we can overcome this challenge, either by providing them better tools or by giving them a better training which can be available?
So I would say both. So my strategy is that I explain to person who needs the training. First, I have my in-house training for BIM in the office. So I show this person some basic, like it takes like 2 hours of training just to get to understand some things in BIM or any other software. And a few days later, this person goes into training that is paid with professors or companies that provide training. That takes, for example, a few days or a week. And after that, I work closely with this person, answering not only questions, but also supporting the person. Oh, here's the trick. You can do that this fast. You can do this. You can do that. Um, my lessons learned, mistakes I made, the challenges I had, all the things that I learned, um, I tend to say to the person, okay, here is like what's stated in the books, but here's like how you can make it easier to work for you. So I tend to work closely with the people, but that is valid challenge in terms of BIM training. It's very expensive. It can be expensive and it can be huge cost for both persons and the company, because when company invests time, for example, if you need to take 1 week training in BIM, that is not only the cost, how much the training itself costs, it's also the company loses 1 week of employee hours. So I can also understand the companies, but there is no other way. You need to invest in people, because the people are the greatest asset of the company. When you have a company, you need more quality people, you need more happy people, you need more people who are ready to learn, who want to learn, who want to build up your company, to help you, to help each other. And also, if let's say if one person learn a BIM in a company, and you have two-person learning BIM in a company, they can support also each other, not just they can learn together, grow together. And that is the only way you can make sustainable company to grow the company.
Indeed.
That's my opinion.
That's really great to hear, Nicola. Like you work in WSP. I would like to know, like, how is the learning environment there? You got to have training sessions frequently.
Yes, we have training sessions for the people. We plan the trainings for the BIM. Usually those are German ones, since we are in Germany and everything is in German. It's the business culture here in Germany. All our softwares are in German. All terms in BIM are in German also. So WSP in Germany invest a lot in people. That's for sure.
Right, right. I see a lot of automations are coming in the BIM industry as of now. People are using Dynamo, some are using plugins, add-ins. Is your company is also, upgrading or some of the tools which you can recommend to the people who watch iWorkstation BIM series? What would you like to recommend? Which tools they should focus on?
Well, Dynamo is definitely good for Revit, that's for sure. So WSP has this advantage that is globally connected in terms of WSP globally has, I believe, 65,000 people working in the company in different countries from Canada, Australia, United States, Germany, England, and so on. Yes, also India. And we have this opportunity to connect each other and to use our tools that we developed in-house. So that is the advantage of WSP, that we can use our tools that we develop for ourselves, for our needs. That can be really good. But Dynamo is definitely something that people should learn in Revit. And also, when it comes to Revit, I would recommend D-Roots 1 and D-Roots in general. It's really good thing for Revit. That Revit is not only BIM; it's just one software in BIM.
Indeed, indeed. And if some people want to learn from you, how you provide the trainings, or do you provide any learning materials or something on your
So you,
LinkedIn somewhere?
So at the moment, I'm focused on BIM marketing. I try to explain to the people what I learned about BIM on LinkedIn mostly. And my mission is to make the BIM education accessible. So I've seen that people from India, from all, not only from India, but from many parts of the world, also from Serbia, where I'm coming from, can't really afford expensive BIM trainings. They can last a lot long. So I want to offer one alternative approach to the BIM learning, and I'm developing it within my PhD studies, and I hope it's gonna launch in 2020. It's gonna launch in 2025, but I hope at the beginning of 2025. So it's gonna be very affordable and very something different, definitely.
Usually, I have been following your LinkedIn page since a very long time, and I see you used to share a lot of valuable content and basic, not just basics, some of the even very common things, terminologies which people are missing. They don't have a clear understanding of what the BIM exactly it is. So I see that kind of information and the consistency which you keep with your profile and the kind of education that you are trying to spread is really acknowledgeable. Could you share us your LinkedIn profile? Can you show something
Yes,
on your screen
I
so
can,
that people
of
can
course.
directly join with you? Like,
So here's my profile. You can contact me or follow me. Would be glad. Um, so yes, I'm. So as my banner here says, okay, I'm boosting BIM businesses with management and marketing. People don't really understand what management is. The management, it's not about BIM, it's not about technology, it's about managing the people. So that is very different to management of BIM and management of technology. So you need to understand. So we, as engineers or architects, the way we progress in our business is the better we are, we got faster, the better positions in the company. And one point, we are offered with some management position, but without any kind of management training. So we are not equipped to manage the people, and yet we got this management position. So we really don't know how to do that. And then we start to do what we can do, that we are good engineers. So we start overseeing the technical parts of the processes, and we start actually micromanaging the people, seeing what they didn't do right, how should it be done, and so on. But that is not good. We should be in the charge of the people who are actually in charge. So who can manage the projects, who can do the projects, we should manage them. We should not manage the project itself, so to say. But yes, as you said, I'm posting last year, I believe. Have some I try to provide different kind of posts about BIM, about people, about how to understand what BIM actually is. Um, the more I post, the more I go in deeper, the more I understand about BIM. But it's also not only about BIM; it's also about mindset and to understand how people can actually use LinkedIn for their business, to grow their business, and also how people can use LinkedIn to land really amazing jobs. As I said, one of the BIM barrier is the lack of BIM experts, and people in BIM can actually really use this barrier for BIM in their advantage in terms of it's very hard to find BIM expert. It's also very hard to find a person who wants to learn BIM. Doesn't matter, for example, to me, if a new employee doesn't have huge BIM knowledge, if I see that the person is ready to learn, I have no problem with that. So, and also with LinkedIn, the story about LinkedIn is that you, also have spoken of that CV, like in classical CV is dead. Digital presence is new CV. I'm not applying for the jobs, and still I have so many jobs or job offers. People come to me, hey Nikola, uh, here is I like your work. I'm very interested in you. Um, I like your ideas. We need a new manager, or we need somebody new in the company. Are you interested? Or just let's meet. Actually, on the two, let's call them job interviews. They were more like getting to know it, just meeting with people. I So that was like kind of a job interview. I had no CV. I had given no CV. I had given no other documents, resume or some letter, nothing. Nobody saw my projects, but yet they were like, "Okay, Nikola, here's offer for a top management position," and I'm not interested because I'm very happy what I do at WSP here. But you actually with LinkedIn you can land really good jobs without applying uh, online. And if you want to also to apply on LinkedIn, you need to understand how to do that.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Many people doesn't
Yes.
know how to post online on LinkedIn or which kind of content they should share.
Yes, I mean the problem with LinkedIn is that most of people don't really understand what LinkedIn is. Many see that LinkedIn as the job searching platform. LinkedIn is great for that, but LinkedIn is mostly the professional network, digital network of professionals or your contacts. So all the time you don't need to post. You need just to engage with people and to comment on their posts, to make not just dumb comments like "yeah, great post" or something like that. That's not really meaningful, but something to add value to the post. For example, there is this huge company. I'm not gonna speak about which one. It's a really famous one, and there was this one project, and it was in Saudi Arabia, I believe. And on the construction, they used, I'm not sure, they used for decoration for architectural reason rope, and they use I don't know how many meters of rope there, and it was like very interesting. Okay, if you calculate how much rope they used, it was pretty much from Saudi Arabia to Moscow, let's say, or to India. The length of this rope, and I was like, okay, that's really great. That's like interesting. So I posted, yeah, I made a comment on that, and the whole top management saw that, and they were like really engaged into the topic because it's really interesting from also from a marketing perspective about project. I gave additional value to the post itself and to the project. So the top management noticed that, and there's okay, here's Nikola made a really good comment. I really like that. So making comments that are significant, that make add value, are really important, and you're going to be visible to the top management to any kind of a company, or any not company, just any individual. So that's how you make connections, and with connections, good connections, you can achieve a lot.
Indeed. I totally agree. Like, just sharing a hi or some normal comments on the post doesn't make any sense. If you're engaging, adding a value to someone, even it's a company, even if you doesn't have a good skill set or something, but yeah, if you add value to a company and someone's post, maybe they would like to offer you a job role one day.
Yes, that's for sure. I mean, I'm not applying. I'm not applying. Last year, I don't apply, and I believe in the last year I have jobs or job offers, really good ones every 2 months. Like I'm speaking like 2 months, really good ones. When I speak of good ones, those are in top management positions of very established companies, and uh, I mean, it has a lot of value actually.
That's really great. I think many people would like to learn about this thing, like how they can post an engaging content, how they should use LinkedIn. Like they should know how to use BIM or software, but how they can showcase themselves, whether they really, like, a lot of people have a lot of skills, talent, communication, everything, but they doesn't know how to present themselves, right? So no, who is going to hire them? That's a drawback even in the industry. So I think, Nikola, you can say something on it.
Yes, I mean, you need to learn a lot about LinkedIn, not only about LinkedIn, but every other network. But LinkedIn is special because it's the people who have businesses are on LinkedIn. So there is the companies are on LinkedIn, so that's why that's important. So I can speak for hours on that topic, from profile picture, from banner, from your about sections, how to approach the person. Um, it has so many layers that I can speak a lot of. Okay, your name, surname, your about section that is just uh, under your name. It's also very important for SEO. The people who are searching for you need to understand very simply who you are, where are you working, and what's your idea. So also when you let's go to some to feeds somewhere. So also in comments, when you see the comments, for example, here, Mr. Nicole Rambobin, I hope I pronounce good. So you see that just, let's say, about 40 characters are shown here. So you need pretty much in those 40 characters to say what you are, like who you are, where are you working, and what's your idea, big idea in those 40. So when you have, I go always my position, where I work, and then what I do pretty much, my big idea. So people, when I see, they will probably see those three lines, so those three things on when I comment something. So it's also very important. Second, what's important is to be clear. So you need, when you see a person's banner, you need to see within 3 seconds, you need to understand who this person is, what industry he is, what does he do, and where he does it, how he or she does what this person does. About the content, I can also speak a lot about it.
I think we'll have another session for that.
Yes, I think it's good. I mean, if somebody has some question, I would be really some like question one to answer. I would be glad to.
Yeah. Anyone have any questions with Nicola? Anyone want to interact with him?
So I
Yeah,
would like to
Parvez.
ask one question, Abhinand.
Yes.
Can I?
Yeah, sure, Parvez.
So it's for both of you, basically, So
Sure.
I have started my BIM journey. Okay, now I'm just wondering whether it is really possible to become a BIM manager if you really do not have the deep understanding of the tools. I mean, it's really, I mean, it's still possible if you have understanding of standards or like ISO or the workflows if you are aware of, looking at the overall experience in civil engineering of managing projects in a conventional manner. So if somebody who doesn't have deep, I mean deep means like out of 10, if I consider, let's say 8 on a scale of 10, I would say revit on a scale of 10, let's say 8 or 9. So if someone has understanding of like 5, 6 and other tools as well, but uh, is not a good modeler, is not a good really didn't work on the large or good BIM projects, so still will he be able to become a manager, BIM manager, or like kind of thing? This is my question. Hope I am able to make you
Yeah,
understand.
you are
Are you
able
getting
to.
what I'm
I understand. I think I would like to answer your question, Parvez. Like, basically, you need a little bit of experience working in the industry. That is for sure. even if you don't have a deep understanding of any subject or any particular software, but you need to understand what are the workflows in a company. Okay, the basic workflows, how they work around. And you need to understand, since you talk about the manager role, you need to understand how to manage people. If your profile showcases that you have managed certain people, maybe it's not exactly in BIM but in different discipline, then I think is a good start. You can go ahead and learn more about it. Yes, Nicola, you would like to comment something?
So first I would separate. Thanks for the question. First, I would separate two relatively different position of BIM manager. BIM manager on a project, so BIM project manager, so to say, and BIM manager if you're managing the people, the whole process in the company. In the first, if you're managing a project, in both actually cases, you don't need so much deep understanding of the tools. You just need to understand what tools are, what they can do, and how to use them. In the project, if you are a BIM manager on a specific project, you need kind of a different tool set, knowing the different tools in order to manage the project itself. You need more of coordination to understand the common data environment, to understand BIM itself. What as a BIM manager, you need to understand the BIM itself, what you can get from BIM, and the hard work, so to say, the modeling, and that you do not do as BIM manager. So you don't need to go into the 3D modeling or so on. You need, however, to understand those parts of BIM. So what you can do, what can you get, what should you expect, and to also to kind of a collaborate with people who are on the board. You should manage the project itself, not so much about technology. I mean, as a BIM manager, for me, it's the same if the project is going to be done in Revit or Auto or the Alplan or some other project, some other software. If the coordination is going to be done, clash detections is going to be done in this software or that software, it's irrelevant. For BIM manager, it's not that relevant. BIM manager should create the work process, how to do that, how to organize that. And also, if you're managing the people, then you even in the company. So the second option, you need to step aside mostly from the technology and from the softwares and start managing the people who are actually managing the processes in the company. But you can do it, of course. I would say the most important thing for BIM manager is to understand BIM, not a specific software. I mean, software, you need to understand what are the capabilities of software and what the specific software can do. But the people, you manage pretty much the people who are working in those softwares.
Yeah, Parvez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one more question. I would appreciate if you can really, let me know which are the, certifications in the field of, in the domain of BIM, which are really recognized across the globe, so that it can really enhance my current profile. So if you can tell any certification or not courses I'm looking for, I mean certification, those are really recognized across the globe.
Yeah, sure, Parvez. So the most significant global certification in BIM comes from Building Smart. That is an organization in Britain that's globally recognized, and in most of the countries you can't work without that certificate. It calls BIM practitioner and so on, BIM foundation, BIM practitioner. And you can Google it on Building Smart. You can take exam there directly, or you can find some local training platform, a local training course in India that is certified, that gives those certifications. I would say that is for me the most important one, and it's going to be recognized in Germany, in India, Brazil, anywhere.
You can find in Bangalore, Parvez.
Okay. Thank you.
There's a BSI office in Bangalore. So they organize the training sessions over there, the offline trainings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Adnan and Nicole.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Parvez. Question.
I think regarding the training sessions, many of the people have asked this question to me also a lot of time. Like, do they really need to do the BIM trainings or something? Go for the BSI. It will be valuable globally, not just in India. And you can do the BSI training on all the 5 parts of ISO 19650. They would be training. I guess recently they started in 2020-21 around in Bangalore region for the trainings. So you can find more details on their website, BSI website, which is the India chapter. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's it for today. It was a nice session having you, Nicola. Thank you for taking out time on the weekend as well.
Thank you, Adam, as well. Thank others for the time. And it was a nice weekend. And I wish the people a great rest of the weekend also.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Yeah. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Bye.